Hey guys, what's up? Nico again here. In this 3D Printed Profits episodes, we got Joe joining us today. Joe, where are you coming from, man?
Uh, Live in Missouri and Lamont, Missouri.
All right. So Joe is going to talk to us about his 3D printing side business, where how he built it, how he got started, how he got his first customer, stuff like that. All the links in this video is going to be in the description below if you're on YouTube. And if you're watching this, I shouldn't say watching, if you're listening to this from your favorite podcast player, it's going to be in the show notes down below. And if you guys need help, as always, if you want to start your own 3D printing side business, message me. We'll get there. And stay till the very end where I give you your own product ideas for your own 3D printing side hustle. So, Joe, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So, tell us more about your background, man. What do you do? Do you have an engineering background? How'd you get into 3D printing?
That's kind of a funny story. I'm a chef. I'm 43. I was a chef for about 17, 18 years.
Chef de cuisine or actual chef, head chef?
All of it. I've been de cuisine. I've been head chef. I've sous chef. Everything. Had a lot of fun with it in the beginning, and then just life happens and things just kill the passion. As my background part of it, I was just a drafter in high school. Like, took 2.5 years of drafting classes, so I understand, the architectural side of drafting and stuff like that, and I have a good base for it. So at one point in time in my culinary career, I got fed up with it and quit and started working at a grocery store. And then when everything with COVID happened and we were getting stimulus checks and whatnot, I was like, you know what, I'm going to buy a 3D printer. So I started messing with, some 3D prints, and I play a game called Warhammer. I love Warhammer, been playing it since high school, the whole spiel. And I wanted to make bases for my models. So I started doing a little research and found Tinkercad. And it was really basic, really easy to use, great for beginners. I can't recommend it enough for people who just want to get started. And made my first base, posted it on Facebook, and just got a really awesome response from the community. So I just kind of kept going with it. And yeah, now at this point, I've got all kinds of stuff I'm working on.
Awesome, man. So how much are you making profit-wise on your business?
Well, as far as profit-wise goes, I'm still within my first year. I really went official and launched everything of October last year.
Okay.
So once I hit, the actual year and I can look at the numbers, I'll have a better number. But I know how much I've made off my 3 different venues. I have a Patreon that I've gotten rid of since then, for specific reasons. But my mini factory sales and my Etsy sales have all come out to about 18,000 so far since October of last year.
Okay. So it's safe to say you're making $1,000 a month minimum as a side hustle.
Yeah. Well, 3 months ago, I went full time.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Yeah. I started an LLC. I'm not working a day job. I'm printing full time.
Nice, man. Congratulations, dude.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's amazing. It's a different feeling, man.
Yeah, I've never thought I'd own my own business, and I just absolutely love it. And since then, I've picked up other things that I'm working on. Discordia out of Mississippi, I'm doing some of their Kickstarter work for them, and they just presented me with another project last week about doing 4 more models, so that they can run into a production too.
Dude, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, no, I'm absolutely all for it. They're really cool to work with so far. They've even helped propel me into learning different aspects of the 3D design. They had some sculpts that they had, and they needed it fixed or repaired or altered, and I had never really gotten into the sculpting side of things. And they're like, if you know somebody, can you help us? Otherwise, we'll have to take it to another source. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to sit down and figure it out myself. And I did. And now I can do some mild sculpting in Blender, which has helped my ultimate learning process and business process.
Awesome. So let's go back to the very beginning.
Sure.
When you first got your first clients, tell us about that. How did it all start? Like, so you posted something on Facebook, and then what happened?
My very first client I haven't spoken to in a while. He had a request. He saw one of my bases. I did this nice industrial ginger base design, and he loved it. He thought it was great. And he had messaged me on Facebook asking me if I could do a like an Aztec kind of Mesoamerican style design for one of his artists. So I sat down, I worked on it for about a week, and then I showed it to him, and he absolutely fell in love with it. And ultimately ended up selling him like $500 for the base. I must have printed him 300 bases, 400 bases for his army. And that really opened my eyes to the possibilities. I was like, oh no, I can really make this much money doing this. That's insane. And from there, it was just another step forward, another step forward.
Gotcha.
It's really the inspiration, the starter, everything that got this going.
Gotcha. Cool, man. So you got your first clients, you know, your mind is like, oh my God, I can make money from this. What happened next? Like, are you going to get into, did you take that money? What did you reinvest it back into?
More printers. So I started off with a Ender 3 Pro. And I took that initial $500 I made, bought another one. At that point, I had designed a couple more base sets and stuff like that, and really was just using kind of like Facebook to advertise with.
Mm-hmm.
And really mild stuff, like show pictures of the bases, get them painted, stuff like that, and just post them, be like, hey, I did this, blah blah blah. And that would get me messages. Like people would be like, hey, can you do this? Hey, can you do that? And I really tried to accommodate with what the people wanted and get that stuff out there. And it just propelled. It went farther and farther. And then ultimately I wanted to do something more intricate, and eventually started resin printing.
Okay. So these resin printers,
yeah.
That's what you use for the miniatures, right? Not just the terrain.
Yeah, exactly. Because of some of the such fine details I've been doing for the bases themselves. I mean, FDM printer just can't get that fine. So
Gotcha.
Yeah, made it a lot better for really great look. Like on my website, you know, when people see the base, the picture, the render, and they get the base in their hand, it looks just like the render.
That's awesome, dude. So what was your first machine, and what machines are you using now?
My first machine, my very first one, was a Monoprice. What was it? Oh man, I can't even remember the name of it before. It was a Monoprice Mini Delta, and it was one of those triangular shaped printers.
Yep.
Where it uses the 3 bars.
Delta style printers. Yep.
Yeah. And then almost immediately, probably a month later, I bought an Ender 3 Pro. Bought another Ender 3 Pro because business was starting to take off and I needed to, you know, get stuff printed. And then when I went to resin, I bought Anycubic Photon Mono. Bought a second mono probably a month later. And then probably 2 months after that, I bought a Photon Mono X. And so now basically I run 4 Photon Mono X's. I got rid of my Ender 3.
And you only run 2 Ender 3s?
Well, I actually sold my 2 Enders to a buddy of mine who wanted to do the same thing. He wanted to get started in the 3D printing side hustle. So I was like, you know what? I'll sell you my 2 machines for $100. They've got mods, they're dialed in. All you got to do is level the bed and hit print. And he jumped right on it. He was all about it. So I kind of wanted to give back to someone else that wanted
Paying
to go
it forward,
down
man. That's what it is, dude.
Yeah, totally.
Law of the universe. There's this thing called the law of the universe. I can't explain it, but you got to pay it forward.
There's nothing wrong with some good karma.
Dude, I don't know. I can't explain it. You guys, look, we're going to go off the cuff here a little bit. There's this thing called the law of the universe. All right. And you have to pay things forward when good things happen to you. And that's how more good things happen to you. I call it woo-woo, call it whatever the hell you want. I don't believe in that shit either, but you guys listen to me. It's there. It exists. Put out good, and good will come back. Hey, man,
You're
Joe.
absolutely right.
Joe, no.
You're absolutely right. You got to pay it forward. You're 100% right. And I couldn't recommend that more to people that want to do their own startup.
Yeah, man.
You know?
So are you running any FDM printers at all?
I actually bought an SV01 Soval Pro, a Soval SV01 Pro on their pre-release, and I'm working on it. I've been out of the FDM game for a little bit, so I'm kind of getting reaccustomed to it. And I've always been big into the modding of when I had FDM printers and the modding them. So I'm in that process. I just got a brand new extruder. It's the, I'd have to look it up. It's the Keefe
The Keedy?
H2V2. Yeah. H2V2 extruder. I got the custom Vortex that a guy in one of the groups in Facebook designed. And I was actually talking with him today about getting that thing dialed in and messing with the firmware on it. And it's reminds me of how much more technical FDM is over resin. I mean, resin, you can just, once you've got it figured out, you just plug in the stick and hit go, you know. FDM, there's tweaking, and there's, if you're gonna mod it, you have to know what to do. And
Sure.
so it's fun to kind of come back to that, to get into that technical side of it, because I love that stuff. I mean, I've built computers in my life, and so I'm familiar with like the internal workings of it. At least.
Gotcha. So what filament are you using?
I've when I first got into it, I must have tried 20 different filaments, and I landed on eSun PLA Plus. It's never given me issues. I've never had problems with it. It's always been minimal stringing for me. And it's hard. It was good for the bases and good for terrain.
Gotcha.
So
What about
I mean,
the resin? What kind of resin are you using?
well, and that's kind of the same story on that. I tried a bunch of different resins, mainly water washable because of my living situation. I want to keep it as odor free as I could and stuff like that. It's a lot different now because I have an actual workshop. But I was printing in my closet. I literally had a closet business. I was printing in my closet in my bedroom.
That's how it all starts, dude.
But I reached out. I saw, let me start this right. I saw a video about a company called Ministry of Resin. And in the video, they take a nice thick, maybe 5 millimeter thick piece of resin, they crimp it to a table and they bend it 90 degrees and it doesn't break. And I was like, oh, wow, I got to try that. So I reached out to them and I got a test bottle and printed some minis, because that's really the big thing, is finding a good resin to print minis with. And it was fantastic. I absolutely love it. So reached out to them and ended up getting a wholesale deal with them. So instead of paying $55 a bottle, I pay my wholesale price. So that really helped a lot. And I never really cared for like the Prozon or the Elgu or the Anycubic resins. I tried them all. I tried all the major brands. I didn't try Sierra Tech. And I've heard a lot about mixing Tenacious, Sierra Tech with
Beautiful product. That's all I use.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I've heard really great things about it. But see, like me, just because of how much I like the Ministry of Resin, I'd try and turn you on.
Sure. Yeah, dude, no problem, man. I mean, there's so many products out there that I want to promote them all. Like if they're good, let's promote them. I want to get their name out there.
They even had a new one. It's an extra durable resin. And there's two things I love about this. There's no maximum print temperature to it. House is a freeze, it'll still print, which I thought that was pretty amazing. And it's so hard. They printed a hammer and they were hammering nails into a board with it.
That's awesome, dude.
That's
pretty impressive
too. That's what I said. I was like, that's pretty impressive. And since where I live now, it's easily 90 to 100 degrees here every day. In the summertime, I may use this extra durable stuff to printing, so that way I don't have to worry about that factor of it being too hot in my workshop.
So that's the resin that you use. So let's go back to the business here for a little bit. What struggles did you first have when you first started, and how'd you get over that?
You know, in all honesty, the biggest struggle I had was having enough time to print what I was selling.
The last guy I just interviewed just gave me the same problem. It was keeping up with a demand.
Yeah.
That has been an ongoing thing to everyone I've been interviewing. Like I cannot keep up with people asking me for their stuff.
No, and that's absolutely right. And with the resin,
what a problem to have.
Yeah, no, that's a horrible problem. The resin over the FDM was the initial fix to that because of just simply the way that resin prints. If I could print 10 bases on my Ender 3 Pro and it would take 18 hours, I can do those same 10 bases on my Photon or on my Mono X 3 hours, 2 hours. And it's just a difference in technology, the way it prints. So
Yeah. So how
that
else
was
does the
the
business
big
make money now?
Okay, so right now,
So
because
I know you. So you're selling minis, you're selling terrain. You said you have a Patreon, right? Which is as a subscription. Now,
well, not
how
anymore.
else do you have like design services?
I have been approached with people asking me to do some simple designs for them, and I do. And I have had some requests for the bases that I make, which I definitely do because I feel like in this world, in this niche that I have, if one person's really going to like it and really want it, it's just going to spread from there. And then other people are going to see it. They're going to want it. And, what's great about Warhammer, it's very social. So like you're going to take your army that you spent hundreds upon hundreds of dollars on, and you're going to go to a hobby store and you're going to play other people face to face. And other people are going to see this and they'll be like, oh my God, where did you get that? And then that's just
It
another
just
step.
spreads like wildfire.
Yeah, the word
Do
of
you
mouth for
have
me is so
what
big.
software are you using for design? Are you
Well,
designing these yourself?
Oh, absolutely. I don't sell other people's designs. I sell my own designs. And that's, to me, that's a point of pride. There's 200 different sellers on Etsy that sell other people's merchandise. Like through Patreon, you can get a merchandise deal with them and you can print their models, etc. I really take a level of pride in saying that everything I print are my designs off my store.
And what software are you using for design?
I'm on Blender now. Like I started with Tinkercad, with Mesh Mixer, 3D Builder, which I still use a little bit now. But now I'm in Blender and I absolutely love it. There's the big, how its learning curve is just through the roof, which it's true. But because I spent like my first year and a half designing with other softwares, I think that was a really good lead up into Blender and made it that much easier for me. Guy I'd like to him out there. He has a YouTube channel. His name is Artisans of Vol, or that's the name of his YouTube channel. He does how-to videos for Blender. Just absolutely fantastic. Like everything that I personally wanted to learn in Blender, he's showing me, as time goes on. And so I'll take days and I'll just sit there and it's like, okay, today's education day. We're going to sit there and learn how to do this. And it's just, his videos has just helped me immensely, so
Sweet.
he definitely gets
That's
all
awesome,
props.
man. We'll send me the link for him. We'll link him in the description too.
I will, for sure.
So what profit margin are you looking at when you sell these? Like how are you pricing these?
So originally, there's formulas that I'm sure you've heard of, like your cost versus print time versus XXX, right? And I started off doing that. It's like, this is going to cost me this much in product. It's, $1 per hour. It's going to be $22, 22-hour print. And I've since then moved away from that because for a couple reasons. This is the main reason is this is my way of making a living. So I can't do as cheap as I want to, this is how I pay my bills, stuff like that. So ultimately I adopted the idea of charging what people are willing to pay. And because I'm the only one out there with this, if someone's going to buy it, they're going to buy it. If not, they're going to move on and buy something. Okay with that. So as for, I went along with the industry standard of X amount of money per hour. And so, but ultimately my print profit margin it's like 800%.
Attaboy.
It's crazy.
Attaboy. Good job.
Yeah.
So do you have your own website? Where are you selling this? Do you have your own website? Are you on Facebook Marketplace, Etsy, eBay? Where are you at?
Right now I'm on Etsy, as well as My Mini Factory. So STL is on My Mini Factory. And 2 days ago, I relaunched my .com. It's a pattern site through Etsy. So now I have my badassbasis.com back up and running.
Attaboy.
Yeah, I love it. I always wanted my own .com.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah, thank you. And it's fun too, because like every step you take, it's like, that's a point of pride. And that's, I could have done something a little bit better there. So it's a learning experience every single
Absolutely.
time.
And how are you driving traffic to that website?
Honestly, mainly just Facebook, social media is my main source. I will every now and then do a little bit of Etsy advertisement, because they take care of all of it for X amount of dollars per day advertisement, but they can be expensive depending on how much you want to advertise. I like to keep it real simple. I'm in over like 140 different Warhammer groups in Facebook. So let's say I design this particular base for this particular army, and then I'll take some renders of that and I'll go to that group and be like, project for a buddy of mine. What do you guys think? Something really simple, not something that's blatant advertising. A lot of people on Facebook, they don't want to see that stuff. So I try and, go within the lines of the group rules. But that really seems to be all that I need for a lot of that, because a lot of it's just that word of mouth. When people see the product sitting in front of them that's painted with their models on it, and another person sees that, and another person sees that. I mean, 90% of my Etsy customers are all repeat customers.
That's awesome.
They come back. Yeah.
I love that, because they just keep buying more and more for their army, and you provide a great service for them there, man.
Absolutely. And I will absolutely work in every way with a customer. If USPS broke it, like if the box came in damaged and bases are broken, I will go out of my way to replace them for free.
Attaboy.
Like,
good stuff.
It's 100% customer satisfaction. I had another guy that bought a base. It's a marker set to help keep track of, spells and stuff in the game. And they were too small for him. He couldn't read them. So I went back, I scaled him up, I made him bigger and sent him out to him for nothing. It's like, I didn't even really tell him about it. It's like, here you go, you should be getting a package. And he's like, what's this? 100% customer satisfaction is my goal. So.
Awesome, man. So, dude, what's next for you? What are the plans for the future? How are we growing this thing? Are we doing more files, larger print farm, buying your own building? What's next?
Everything you just said. I would love to get to the point where I need a warehouse, where I need a bigger print farm. I mean, I'd like to have like a mini Shapeways kind of style warehouse. That'd be great. That's in the future. It's not happening tomorrow. I've been working with another design company called Modular Worlds in the UK. And we're finally really getting together, and now my bases are going to Europe. Like, I have a distributor in Europe. He's going to print them there. I feel like it's one of my big losses on customers, because it's so much to ship out there. And that's where Warhammer's from. Warhammer's from the UK. That's home country. Like, it couldn't be a better setup than to have him printing for me over there. So that'll be passive income, and I absolutely adore passive income.
Me too. Passive income.
Once the initial work, once the initial work is done, all you have to do is sit back and hit pay out. That's awesome. I love it.
That's awesome, brother.
So with that, we got Modular Worlds in UK. I've got a brick and mortar store in Chicago that hit me up last week about physically selling the prints out of his store, and we're going to go ahead with that. Just as long as he doesn't touch the online sales. That's my big thing. Is the U.S. territory is my territory for sales on my bases. I want to keep it that way, as long as it's online. I mean, and then I've got the Discordia thing that's slowly moving into bigger and better things. I'm going to be sending them out prototypes this week for what they want. And I make lithophanes too. If I ever get to the point where I can actually open a storefront, it would be a lot of stuff like that, like lithophanes, resin printed lithophanes. I did a wonderful picture of my daughter, of her face, and put it in a light box. Like, I designed almost a shadow box, put in an array of lights in behind it on a dimmer switch, and put the lithophane inside of it. You can totally interchange it with different pictures and hang it on the wall, and it looks gorgeous.
Sounds like you got a lot of big plans there, man.
Yeah, it's like there's just so much, like you don't know which one to pick and work on that day.
Well, it sounds like you have a good head on your shoulders there, man. There's nothing that anyone can teach you, but we're always continually learning as experience
Absolutely.
goes. You fantastic, dude, amazing story. You went from where you started to full-time quitting your job, man. I mean, I
That's
can't
the dream right
congratulate you
there.
enough. This is amazing.
No, it's definitely a dream. I mean, and you know, I have a 3-year-old daughter too, and now I'm not spending 8, 10, 12 hours a day
And that's
at
what
a
it's about,
normal
right? It's
computer
about the
chain.
freedom to do
Yeah,
whatever you want, be there for everything that she's going to be there for.
yeah. You know, any baseball game or soccer game that she's going to go to in the future, I have time to be there. We can go take a
Absolutely.
vacation anytime I want. I can shut down my store, put it in vacation mode, say I'll be back in a week, and we can go do whatever. I don't have to clear it with a
Nice.
boss. I don't need permission. Like I love every part of this.
Awesome, man. So let's wrap this up with your number one tip for anyone who wants to start their own 3D printing business.
Variety. Variety is the spice of life. It's key to everything, especially with what I do specifically. But have a variety in your store. I started with getting my mom. She makes jewelry. You know, I was like, expand. You've got a bunch of earrings right now. Make more. The more variety that you can get out there, the more different kinds of people are going to be attracted to your store or what you do. I mean, it doesn't have to be a drastic variety, but just have something more than one thing. That would be the best thing I could tell anybody.
Awesome. Joe, thank you so much, man. So if you stayed through the entire episode, which I hope you did, because there was so much good info in this episode, really excited about it. Joe's been a wealth of knowledge here. But if you stayed through the entire episode, I told you I would give you your own product idea for if you wanted to start your own 3D printing business. And that idea for today is stencils. You guys, there's so many people who paint stuff. It's unbelievable. And the stencils you find at the store are like the A, B, C, D, all that other stuff. What if you made a stencil for Joe's miniatures? What if you made stencils for his barracks, for his bases, for his terrain, right? Where you can easily paint this and help the people who want to paint these things. And you can jump, hey, Joe, these guys who are painting your stuff, can I sell them stencils? You know, just stuff like that. There's so, you guys, the application for 3D printing is bananas. So that's your idea for today. It's going to be stencils. If you guys need help building, starting, and growing your own 3D printing business, message me. We'll get you in the coaching program, and I'll help you guys start, build, and grow it. Again, Joe, thank you so much for being here, man. Great story, amazing information. Thank you for helping the community out.
Can I add to your point real fast?
Absolutely. Go nuts, dude.
I had a buddy of mine. He's very big into guns and body armor and stuff like that, and loves Punisher. Wanted to put the Punisher thing on his vest. I printed him a Punisher stencil. He spray painted it on there, and he absolutely loves it.
What I just say, it makes life so much easier because there's no one who makes Punisher stencils. And if they do, that means the market was tested and they're already selling it. That means you can make more. That's all it means. Right? So,
absolutely.
Joe, thank you so much for being here, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Later, brother.
Have a good day.